said that we have electrified all villages in India.
We have also achieved the historic milestone of connecting every village to electricity.
India is staring at a possible power crisis.
Massive power blackout in India's financial capital, Mumbai.
Even today, millions of Indians still live in darkness. Why is India, the fourth largest economy, still facing a power problem?
So we have three issues at hand.
If the power electrification is not done in the right manner, then the dream of India become a 5 trillion economy or a 30 trillion economy will not be achieved.
While we want to compete with China and Germany, today our industries still face power outages.
The biggest problem has been the T&D losses that our country has. We have 15 to 16% kind of a loss versus China where losses are just 2%.
I want people to realize what kind of a gold mine the power sector is.
This sector has the potential to create multi-trillion dollar companies.
Nikhil Kamath often says that the most amount of money can be made with boring businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, India is undergoing a power crisis. While Modi ji claimed to have electrified the entire country in 2018, even as of 2023, 67 lakh people did not have access to electricity in India. While we dream of beating China, India is still witnessing power cuts and our industries are still starving for energy. And while our politicians refuse to answer harsh questions on this matter, we decided to talk to those people who have absolutely no reason to fool you. While most people saw it as a problem, my guest today, Ayush Sinhal, built a 2,400 crore company by solving this problem. You know what they make? They make this small device called smart meters. And you can find this in any house, any industry, and even in schools. But this little device today makes them 2,400 crores. Along with that, we also have Vivek Jain and Arvind Kothari, who've been investing in India's power sector for a decade, and they've made millions of dollars through their investment. So today, we sat down with them to try and understand why is India facing such a terrible power crisis, how do we solve this problem, what exactly is their investment thesis to find hidden gems in the market, and most importantly, as entrepreneurs, how can we spot a goldmine opportunity for ourselves? Before we jump in, I want to thank Odoo for supporting this podcast. Now listen to this very carefully, especially if you're a business owner, founder, freelancer, or just someone with big dreams. Because what I'm about to tell you could be the difference between closing your next big deal or watching it slip through your fingers. Let's be real, guys. In today's fast-paced world, a single missed follow-up can cost you lakhs. That is why you need to know about Odoo CRM, the tool that's changing the way India is doing business. So whether you're managing 10 leads or 10,000 leads, Odoo helps you track every lead, every deal, every call, all in just one place. With sleek Kanban view, you will always know what's moving, what's stuck, and what needs your attention instantly. And with Odoo's chatter system, you will never lose an activity or an email or a client update ever again. But wait, it gets better. Once the deal is closed, you can send a beautiful quotation right from the opportunity tab itself. And with custom dashboards, revenue forecasting, and real-time insights at your fingertips, Odoo isn't just your CRM, it's your business command center. So if you're building the next big thing or even just getting started, this is your sign to stop winging it and start winning with Odoo CRM. And here's the best part. Your first Odoo app is free for life along with hosting and support included. So hit the link in the description, sign up for Odoo, and take full control of your customer game starting from today. Good morning, gentlemen. Today we are here to talk about a national crisis, a crisis that very few people are aware of. We are talking about the power crisis. You know, it's funny that Modi ji in 2018 said that we have electrified all villages in India. But even today, millions of Indians still live in darkness. India is glorified as the fourth largest economy. But even then, today our industries still face power outages. And while we want to compete with China and Germany, we are still at the mercy of oil powers and wars, because every time oil price fluctuates, the Indian economy begins to dwindle. So we are trying everything from E20 to solar to wind to try and come out of this problem. Now, politicians often refrain from answering tough questions, which is why today I decided to have you guys, a new age entrepreneur, a seasoned entrepreneur, and an investor who invests in the stock market and generates growth in revenue, by the way, guys, to talk about India's power problem. And how can we solve this problem and become a beneficiary of the solution? Because as investors, we can invest in power companies and become a beneficiary. As entrepreneurs, we can solve this problem and become a beneficiary so that we can be a part of the solution and not just crib about problems. Today, the agenda is pretty simple. We want to understand three very simple things. Number one, why is India facing a power crisis? Number two, as an investor, how can we choose companies that will benefit because of the solution that India will bring in to solve this power problem? And Ayush, from you, I want to know, how can a new age entrepreneur build $1 million business by solving India's power problem? Because on the outset, it looks like this is a game that is meant only for big players like Tata Power and Adani Power. And sir, from you, I want an overview of this problem because you've been in this industry for decades, so that people like me and Ayush can learn from you and become a part of the solution and hopefully make a lot of money. Yeah. That's the agenda for today's podcast. So let's take 1 minute to introduce each one of you, and then we can get started with the agenda of the podcast. Shall we? Okay. Sir, let's start with you.
So, hi, thanks for having us here. And so, I'm an entrepreneur having my own brand called Action Tesa, which is the largest brand for MDF in particle board in India. We are the largest and the most innovative company in the country. And my past has been with Microtech, which is solving the power problems of the country, the largest inverter manufacturer. So I've seen that world closely. So that's an interesting podcast and we are having today for the discussion. And we have a family office also by the name of Arogya Capital, which we fund the right entrepreneurs. We have a framework to do it. We'll talk about it later.
Amazing. Arvind sir.
Hi Ganesh, thank you for having us. So Niveshai, we found in 2014, the whole mindset was to pick entrepreneurs which are going to change a lot of sectors. But the whole problem was that in India, all sectors which were growing fast were either, in the negative list on the banking sector from the point of view of lending, or the equity investors were not that much encouraged to invest over there because citing the risk. That is where at Niveshai we started to take bold entrepreneur calls, and the journeys that we've taken with entrepreneurs like Vivekji has helped us identify companies, try to get mentors for them, try to arrange capital for them. In fact, over the years we've also tried to take them public all through our efforts, and that is where we want to keep on doing that journey again and again in sectors which are growing fast, sectors which can really change what India's future is going to look like. Today, in a situation where we believe that our founders have that energy, enthusiasm. If funded with the right kind of capital and right set of mentors, they can really unleash, the kind of growth that India wants to achieve. So that's where Niveshai comes as a bridge to back these companies in terms of financial capital, in terms of investors they want to get on board, or mentors they want to get on board, or even other resources that they want to get on board. So that's what Niveshai is all about.
Got it. So can you explain what does Niveshai do?
So Niveshai tries to pool capital from, various set of investors or family offices or entrepreneurs, and tries to give it to sectors or companies which are growing fast, like energy sector in the country, or recycling sector in the country, or maybe the computing power ecosystem that we want in the country. That's where we are a bridge between founders which want to grow fast and the capital which wants to get deployed in those set of founders. That's what Niveshai in brief does.
Got it. Ayush?
Thank you, Ganesh. This is the first time that I'm on the other side of the camera. Otherwise, I've been just consuming your videos and the other podcasts throughout my life and learning from it. So thank you for giving this opportunity. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Kimball. We started this company in 2011 with the vision to actually digitize the energy grid, the energy sector, all in all, and that is what we have been doing. It's a product company made in India, made for India and for the world. So yeah, we'll cover the company further in detail. One thing that you said, that to share how energy sector or how this crisis can give the opportunity to create I think so you mentioned $1 million or $1 billion company?
$1 million company.
$1 million. I think so this sector has the potential to create multi-trillion-dollar companies.
Oh, wow. Guys, first let's understand the problem better. Why is India, the 4th largest economy, still facing a power problem?
So we have 3 issues at hand. One is the coal output problem. The other is the grid infrastructure problem. Third is the T&D losses problem.
Got it. So could you please go deeper and explain each problem properly?
So Ganesh, if you look at what our country has been doing in the power sector, was crippled with a lot of policy problems in the past, where there was no growth in terms of coal output, and still the power plants were put up. Hence, these power plants could not make power at the cost that they wanted to, because they had to import a lot of coal. That is where the whole crisis started. So biggest problem has been the losses, the T&D losses that our country has. It's a problem of leakage, right? You can keep on producing more power, but if it is getting leaked out of the system, the losses keep on mounting. And we have almost 15 to 16% kind of a loss versus a China where, the losses are just 2%.
2%?
Right, yes. So that's where the gap. I mean, just imagine any business has an EBITDA margin of what? 14, 15% at max, right? And if 15% is just shaved off from these kind of losses in a commodity kind of a sector, how can you make profits? The whole ecosystem doesn't make profit. Hence, it is very difficult to seed a lot of investment in that sector, right? So what we are looking at, the government is trying to plug the loopholes. And please understand, India and China are at the forefront of the energy ecosystem if you think about the capabilities. And we can blame India about a lot of things, but if you go to the grids in the Western world, they are grids which have not had investment for decades. They've invested very heavily in technology. So the 20-25 years kind of technology bull run that the US has had, but it is now facing a crisis because it did not invest in the energy ecosystem in terms of grid infrastructure, in terms of power, manufacturing, and hence their data centers are facing a power crisis. We in our country are lucky that at least the capacities are there and capacities are getting built. It is a problem of the whole political will to reduce the T&D losses, which is the forefront issue over here. Because if you look at in renewable energy, our capacities are growing faster than the US. In China also the same thing is happening, right? So in terms of manufacturing of these components as well, solar panels, windmills, T&D equipments, India is at the forefront. In fact, US is importing a lot of this stuff from India and China, right?
First is, you stated that we used to import coal.
Yeah.
We are the 5th largest producer of coal, right?
Yeah.
Then why did we have to import coal?
So the whole problem was that, Coal India, which is a government